and to shed more lights on the recommendations by Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry at the end of the COP27. We have the pleasure to have this phone with Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, journalist and writer. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you, and hello to the dear viewers.
Thank you, sir. Well, Mr. Abdurrahman, how do you see the statements by and the recommendations that was read out by the Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry at the as the COP27 was concluding yesterday in the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh, as the Foreign Minister said that what makes these recommendations historical this time and this year is that there was they decided to make a fund for helping the countries who are suffering from the climate change. That was one of the important points that was mentioned in the recommendations and was described by the Foreign Minister as historical.
I believe that Egypt made the most successful summit of climate summits at maybe the past decade. I believe that Egypt succeeded in upholding the humanitarian message of the summit and succeeded also to achieve some very important points. We made it clear to the whole world that we should all stand together side by side as nations, as leaderships all over the world, to confront the climate change, which is the most dangerous threat that is being faced by humanity at this era. Of course, Mr. Sameh Shoukry, our Foreign Affairs Minister, has made it clear that the industrial revolution that has happened about 3 centuries caused the most and the greater damage to our climate, and it was most of its way, some phases or ways to destruct the climate and the environment. Egypt also has succeeded in containing the secret agendas that some organizations tried to pass behind the curtain of human rights organizations, claiming that to defend human rights, which they are in the real thing, they are defending the rights of terrorism. Also, Egypt has made it clear that the past resolutions of the last summit in Glasgow, in Scotland, it should be made clear that it should be happening right now. It should be executed and made it and happen and be accomplished. It's time for the powers in the West to achieve and to accomplish the promises they made to help the other nations that are not responsible of the climate change, and to help them financially, not because we owe them. They owe us. They owe the earth. They owe the climate. They owe life on this planet.
Yes. So, Mr. Abdurrahman, also the recommendations, how do you view the draft of the resolutions on the Green Climate Fund, as you've mentioned, and also on the climate measures regarding agriculture and food safety?
Okay, we are talking about resolutions taking place each and every summit, and it's time to be happening and being accomplished. We need a solid will, a political solid will from the leaderships around the world. Egypt made it clear that we are taking the lead of this will. We're talking about the United Nations. They made some resolutions, and those resolutions could be the gateway to a new era of honest dealing with climate issues, especially confronting the transcontinental mega companies that represent the modern face of ancient colonialism. We're talking about greater companies. We're talking about those who control energy sources and refuse to renew those sources with what they call it scientifically the free energy sources, because they benefit from the traditional powers and sources of powers. It's time for humans to stand side by side, nations and leaderships, to help and take each other's hand to face that crisis which threatens the whole life on Earth.
Yes. Also, Mr. Abdurrahman, the recommendations touched on the importance to set the appropriate path for implementing the Paris Agreement to face climate change.
Well, of course, we have some important steps to be taken, whether to achieve the resolutions of Paris Agreement, or to achieve making better measures for food safety around the world. We're talking about new horizon to change our aspect, to change the way we look at this climate changes. It's not about just financial solutions. We're talking about the root of this problem, and to be digged up and taken away from our land or from our soil. We need to have permanent solutions, not just resolutions taken each and every summit and renewed with new resolutions and so on, without truly solid solutions.
Yes. So also the recommendations touched on that Egypt is going to follow up during the whole year until it hands over the presidency and hosting the conference to Dubai. How do you see this?
Well, this is a very important step, of course. I believe that Egypt is the conference and the resolutions of this conference is in good hands, because in Egypt we not only have the solid will to change and to face and to confront this crisis, but also we have the secrets of those energy sources which we have secretly for generations and 1,000 years before. We can make the change through Egypt. We can make that change, passing it over to our neighbor and friends and brothers in Emirates. I believe that by the end of this year, God's willing, we believe that too many important steps, I believe, is going to be taken successfully, inshallah.
Yes, so Mr. Abdurrahman, also this conference this year is under the title Together for Implementation.
Well, of course. It's time to stand side by side as nations. We have seen delegations from the whole world. We have seen youth. We have seen generations, different generations, upholding the same message: save our Earth. Confront the climate change crisis from the roots, not just by the leaves. We are talking about the main sources of this crisis should be dealt with a solid will, with truly and honest dealing with the roots of this crisis.
Yes.
And of course, using each and every aspect and common aspect we can share together as nations.
Yes, yes. Mr. Abdurrahman, in his speech before the conference in the opening session of COP27, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed the importance and said that this conference, we should, it's time to take action and it's time for work. What's your comment?
This is the difference that Egypt makes. The speech of Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi made it clear to the whole world. It's time for action, not just words, not just decisions, not just resolutions. We have witnessed the last summit in Glasgow. It represented the true danger that we are facing. We are truly facing that some cities will be drowning under the level of sea. It's time to take action, and Egypt is taking the lead. And we have enough time to express the words and the decisions and the resolutions and the statements of Mr. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to change, to make the true change that even all the humanity is reaching out for.
Yes. I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information. Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, journalist and political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone.